Good evening and welcome to a new episode of To The Point. It's a very special episode today. It's going to be all about the economic and financial achievements in Egypt in the year 2021. I'm Raed Morsi and I'm joined this evening by Mr. Raed Allam, a corporate finance consultant. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a bit about some of the major projects. One of the major achievements that we've seen in the last year or so is, strides in the renewable energy field, like the Binban solar energy field that's been taking place in Aswan. It's actually considered one of the largest in the world, and even won a Guinness record for how big it is. Can you tell us how important is this for the Egyptian economy?
Let us start with something is very important during 2021. Okay, there is a tremendous, a huge, development has been done during the last year, or the current ending year.
Yes.
Okay, if we are going to talk about energy, or we talk about power supply, or talk about land reclamation, we talk about roads and infrastructure.
Yes.
Okay. Definitely, we have a lot of things has been done. If we consider some of these projects, we talk about billions of Egyptian pounds to invest. And if we look for the investment return, we need to think about 2 or 3 years more, for gaining these revenues.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we have many things to carry over, especially employment. So if you have such investments, we talk about more opportunities for unemployed. We talk about feeding industries for many things. If we talk about land reclamation or increasing the piece of land that we can carry food from it, it is we talk about 2 million per day. We talk about enhancing the way we cultivate or making the agricultural process. Even water supply, we have a lot of things, of stations for it. We talk about a full city for medicine production.
Yes, definitely.
We talk about the new project or whatever to enhance and develop around 3,900 villages, to give them whatever.
Part of the Decent Life Initiative.
Decent life, yes. This is what I'm trying to remember. There is a lot of things we can talk about. So definitely the return will come very soon. But not as expected, because this is being a project. Mega project doesn't give us fast returns. So definitely we are coming, the coming years will be fine or more elaborated than past years.
We've seen in the last year, like you were saying as well, about the energy sector itself. This is a big boom in Egypt, not just in terms of renewable energy, but also when it comes to petrochemicals as well. Is the plan for the future to be exporters of energy for Egypt?
Yes, of course. Definitely we can do it. And I think we started with the gas, I think. That we started to export. Enhancing exports, it means more value for our currency. It means more worker opportunities. More trust and confidence in our economy to invest more. To attract foreign investments. And definitely, we can go further and further, not only with the gas, we can go also with electricity, because we build huge stations and centers for electricity too. Okay. Energy is the base.
Yes.
Energy and the infrastructure is the base for any investments. Okay. If we are talk about many industries, okay, that need such stable energy or stable electricity or power supply or gas or something like this, it's very important. And if the cost is reasonable, okay, it means the product or the final product, okay, will be lower in its prices.
Yes.
If you talk about some industry like aluminium industry, we talk about 60% of its cost.
So we're trying to compete with the rest of the world.
Yes.
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 What about when it comes to, there's plans that are still ongoing and things that have already been completed when it comes to the overhaul of the transportation system, whether it's, you know, regular roads or the railway system itself. How does this help businesses?
Okay. Okay, let me give you a small example. If I am in a new city, okay, and I have a small, not a big, okay, a project or an industry, some industry, okay, so I have to move the labor from their living point to this factory, okay, and in return they have to go home again. Meanwhile, I have to move the raw material from its sources to the factory, and to move the final product to its markets. If we don't have infrastructures and railroads and very fast one, how cost we can incur, okay, to fix such a problem? Moving things, we talk about usually about 10% for regular industries, okay? If we don't have we have heavy traffic or very limited roads or something like this. So this 10% will go to up to 20%. And this 20% cost increase will definitely affect the selling price. So definitely it's a right way to do such infrastructure in roads and transportation means and so on.
I actually read somewhere that the real boom of the American economy started when they started building the railway system. Do you think that this is also something that will, you know, make the Egyptian economy boom once we completely overhaul the railway system that obviously needs a lot of help? Yes. Yeah,
railway system, transportation system is very important, especially that what we have is built from maybe 100 years or something like this. It's before 50s, okay, 1950s, okay, and definitely we need to develop and
they've already started.
And definitely we have to expand its lines because if we talk about area like Sokhna, Galala, I don't remember the name of the port over there, Adabiya port, and anyway, there's another another port over there. If we used the railway roads, definitely it's more effective and more easily to move things from India and products and things, whatever, because definitely some of it will facilitate the life of the people working over there.
Yes. There was a recent report by the IMF saying that Egypt will become the second largest Arab and African economy for 2022, considering the complete overhaul of how the economy is going in the past few years. They reported that the expectation for an increase in revenues, the gross domestic product, reached 18.6% for the next financial year. What does this mean in terms of competition for Egypt when it comes to the Middle East?
Okay. If we talk about attractive for investments and economic stability, okay, definitely we will benefit from this. Now we are the fourth country in Africa that attracting investments. Okay, maybe it is not a foreign investment so far. Okay, not that heavy, but we talk about foreign investment in general from Arab countries and so on.
Yes.
Which is okay. We have the growth rate is not bad, okay, because we have 4.4 or something like this, which is good, okay. In comparison, especially that the pandemic of Corona affected the whole world.
Yes,
okay.
It did.
So if we measure or trying to see what happened here in Egypt, so we are succeeded to a certain extent to achieve a lot of things that other countries cannot do.
Yes. There's also been some work when it comes to the antiquities and tourism sector despite COVID. Obviously, it's affected tourism across the world. But in the last year, we've seen the opening of the Civilization Museum, as well as the Rams Road in Luxor, and the planned opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum as well. Do you think that spending within this sector, even though right now it's contracting, is important to build for the future?
It's very important because now, actually, if we have some problem, if we talk about tourism, it depends on the stability, okay, and the security, okay. And thanks God that last 3 or 4 months ago, okay, the accuracy rate in many resorts and many districts has been increased tremendously. Okay, we distinguish the kind of tourism. Part of them, like Far East, like to have the historical. Okay, so now we can attract the Far East people, especially Japan, China, and so India, and so on. Okay, for the beach or the activity tourism, okay, definitely the other districts has been a full covered the last 3-4 months. We hope to keep on, okay, especially that Egypt has been took out from the red list of that countries. Hopefully that we keep on.
Yes, and hopefully once COVID is over, we're going to start to see the effects of this overhaul, hopefully.
This is another question that we don't know.
Yeah, hopefully it'll end soon. We hope so. What about when it comes to obviously the Suez Canal, the upgrade of it has taken place in the past few years, and now there's also plans to create some sort of logistical hub within the Suez Canal where businesses can open up and provide services for the ships passing through and all of that. Is this going to generate revenue for the country as well in the near future, or is this something more long term?
It's for the future, and part of it, if we talk about fixing or something, not about the service we can provide to the ships passing, or ships need some quick fixing, but definitely if we talk about longer term, okay, to build something like small ships or something like this, or to make some motor fixing or something like this, it will take time, but we talk about that we have another tunnel that opened lately, and we talk about the development of Sinai itself and the area over there. Okay, if we talk about, we facilitate the passing in and passing out. We give a major concern to the project for the use over there. there is a big project, okay,
Yes.
for green cover plants, okay, has been dedicated to Sinai.
Yes.
So definitely the situation over there will be changed.
And like we're saying, there's a lot of mega projects taking place around the nation. This also generates employment.
For sure.
What do you think of the long-term plans for the government? Are they going to continue to create new mega projects to keep employing the people involved in these sectors? Or are they hoping to hand it over to the private sector?
Okay. To start with, definitely, if we would like to grow very fast, we have to go to small and medium business, okay, investments, because it can grow faster than big project or mega project.
Yes.
Okay. If we talk about going more and more, okay, this is a long-term plan.
Yes.
Okay. If we talk about, okay, what we are going to do in the coming 5 years. It's different when we said, okay, let's what we're going to do for the coming 15 years.
Yes.
The vision I noticed in many projects that usually we used to think about what coming a year or two. Now, no. On these years, okay, we talk about what about 10 and 15 years coming, okay? So I'm not talking about ourselves or the second generation, we talk about the third generation, which is good, okay? The only problem that we have to focus more in the educations, okay? And not the normal education, but with technical education, because we need to build, okay, the skilled and semi-skilled laborers, okay, because if we are going to increase our project and keep on, okay, definitely we need some different ideas about labor and skilled labor and semi-skilled labor, okay, because it is the major part, okay. If we talk about vehicle industry, okay, we need definitely a huge number. There is a project now to produce some Egyptian car. Maybe it's 50% local component or 60% or something like this. But it's purely need skilled labor.
But there is also plans. I mean, we've seen sort of protocols being signed in different sectors, not necessarily in the vehicle production sector.
Yeah, I know.
But we've seen, protocols signed whereby certain countries, like for instance the Russians or the Ukrainians or whatever, the French, are providing not only investments but also technical skills and training programs for the local laborers here in Egypt. Okay. Do you think this is going to show fruition within the next 5 years, or is it something more long term?
We need more heavily investment in these sectors. Okay, if you talk about mega project, or if you talk about even industry booming, okay, definitely we need more than this, because it is not a matter of sort of cooperation. We need to develop the way of the technical schools, technical secondary schools, okay, to produce someone who can work.
Yes.
Okay, it is not a matter of just, okay, that he has a certificate, okay, and definitely we have to change the pattern and the way of thinking.
Yes.
Okay, this is something very socially, okay, that we have to give them their why you go for this. It is not a matter that, okay, you have been graduated, okay, fine, and go look for something to do. It's a matter that he has to be encouraged to go for such.
Yeah, we've also seen in recent months protocols being signed by the Ministry of Higher Education. This is not necessarily technical. This is more of higher level education for students. We've seen them sign protocols with different European universities. This is a way by the ministry to somehow combat the brain drain effect, whereby people go study abroad and then just stay there. Do you think that this is something important, and do you think that these students are going to eventually find jobs within the market itself?
Okay, let us think on it properly. If we are talking about such cooperation and whatever benefit we have, for how many? This is a question.
Yes.
For how many students
Yes.
we can grant this? Okay. If we talk just about some outside foreign universities or something like this, okay, so scholarships or whatever, okay, it means that I'm going to select.
But they're going to be local, though. They're going to be here.
But the problem is the expenses.
Yes.
And some courses,
Yes.
the cost of it should be outside the country. Okay, we have to focus, okay, in the regular or the normal income people, okay,
Yes. Yes.
because definitely the attractive of these universities definitely will go to a certain level.
Yes.
You know, not to the mass of the Egyptian
Yes.
people. If we talk about 104 million or 105 million, okay, we cannot think that all of them have the same methodology on teaching their kids or sons.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about the idea of smart cities? The plan is for smart cities, for the new ones like the new Allam city or the new administrative capital. This is all supposed to be smart. What makes a smart city special, and why would this be something attractive for foreigners?
Okay. What's the idea, especially for Allam, if you mention this project, this area in general, the wrong decision has been taken before that it is to be used within 2 months, during 2 months of the year or something like this. If you just add, okay, to that areas something unique and something with different thinking, you will develop the whole area to be a touristic district, okay? Okay, from Alexandria to Marsa Matruh, okay, how many kilometers that we can invest on it, even on business, even on industry or in agriculture, okay? So definitely if we have some smart, okay, buildings, definitely will attract the people or the investors to stay over there, okay, and think about the surrounding area, how to develop or to do something for growing with the area. And the main course of this thing is to change the idea of 2 months destinations, okay, to the whole year destination.
Okay, what about, you know, there was certain propositions by the government whereby they're trying to incentivize, you know, local businesses into, rather than selling raw material, but actually selling the final product itself, because there's obviously more profit in selling the final product itself. How can the government incentivize them more, and how can they, you know, help them get through this process of creating a final product?
For many industries, okay, from our mountains and deserts, there is a lot of raw material, natural raw material, that used to be exported as raw material. If we talk about changing, just small changing, okay, in the shape, or just adding something or mixing something, okay, the value added will increase highly, okay. So first of all, definitely, if we talk about small industry, or not small industry, I mean a small technicality industry, not big one. If we grant them some grants or something like this from other countries to use this material, definitely will be help. Definitely they will need some importations for equipment that can be exempted for many years from custom and taxes. And the idea is to facilitate the way you can select this type of raw material, okay, because part of it is far away. We need sort of a transportation means to them. So we can either or to make it
This
as
is where
a
the railway
complete,
system could help.
is a complete complex, or you can just make it to into different entities,
Yes.
one for production and one for collecting, and
Yes.
because you need a certain process to collect such
Yes.
raw material, especially from Sinai and Sokhna, and I think somewhere near Savaga and so on. Okay.
What about the Decent Life Initiative? They've taken big strides when it comes to developing, the Egyptian suburbs and the, countryside itself, whereby you were saying there were several villages, several thousand villages that have been
in Bahira
yes.
and Asyut.
Yeah.
They started in Bahira, and this is nice thing to mention. In all the years, or previous years, the focus always was in the Delta area.
Yes.
Okay. Nowadays, there is even to the Upper Egypt.
Yes.
There is a major development have been done for Asyut and Sohag. Okay. And Aswan and Al-Qusr. Okay.
Yes.
And as well, as I mentioned, in Delta Bahira. And I think another governorate also has the same project and the same development has been tracked on. Okay, so it is a good approach that you are not developing in one
Yes.
area, you're
Yes.
just trying to mix the whole country.
So do you think that upgrading the living conditions of Egyptians, especially like you're saying in Upper Egypt, that was largely overlooked, is this going to help the average Egyptian produce more and be better workers?
Yeah, but again, definitely and for sure and for accuracy, we have to make some campaign, some whatever,
Awareness,
I don't know, to increase the awareness
Yes.
of the importance of such things and to encourage the people,
Yes.
okay, to participate, okay, and thinking that these things are belongs to us, okay.
Yes.
This is the most important before to do. You have to give the education, the learning curve, okay, to the people to understand the importance of such things. Because if we talk about small things, new road has been developed or something like this, okay, you have to see the people pattern of driving, because if it is going to the risky
Yes.
situation, so
Yes.
we have to consider something else. Okay, this is very important. The behavior.
Yes.
We are talking about again 100 million five.
Yeah, it's going to take time, but eventually I'm sure people will get it. You were talking earlier, or in the beginning of the show, about the medical city. It's supposed to be the largest in the Middle East. It's supposed to contain 2,000 beds, as well as research facilities and an education facility as well. How important is this, and will it attract medical tourism in Egypt?
No.
That's not the intention.
Because it is purely for producing medicine,
Yes.
different type of medicine. So it can attract some medical investment investors or something like this. But it is, as I read about it, it is just for many factories for producing medicine, not for medical treatment.
Yeah, what about the research facilities and the education facilities within the medical city? Is this going to attract, for instance, Arab students?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Yes.
Definitely. In the sector of human being and animals, I read that even for vaccines for animals and productions
Yes.
has increased from something to 10 million shot. This is a very, very good progress.
Yes.
If you are just make a complete set
Yes.
of feeding industries such, okay, this is the land you can planted, and this is the animal, you can raise it, and this is the vaccines, and this is the food for to such growing animals. Okay, definitely the cost of production will be less. Okay, and most of these things was importing. Just we import it from outside. Okay.
Well, what about the idea of, I mean, this is not something Egyptian, it's not something that was invented by Egypt, but since COVID, the reliance on technology has been immense across the world. How do you think that this has affected business generally? Well, you know, people now are having like Zoom meetings or, you know, doing business over the internet itself. How has this helped better business, and how has this cut costs for people?
This is because of the change of the. But if we are talking on direct contact, definitely it's more professional.
On psychological front as well, I'm sure it's much better. But in terms of cost cutting,
definitely we need more investment in the internet services and mobile services. Okay, because if we are a consumable people, okay, so it is not a matter of one line or something like this. If we are talking about what lines we have, I'm sure we are not talking about not less than 2 millions, 200 millions or something like this. It's a very booming market. So I have to cope this increase, especially that most of the people forget it about the landline and used mobile and internet. Okay, so the traffic is very high, so we have to invest more in this sector. Definitely.
Well, we're almost out of time, so can you give us like some sort of final statement about what you see for the next 5 years when it comes to the Egyptian economy?
It's very promising. Okay, part of the project will start giving the revenues. Okay, and other part, okay, will stay in very startup situation. Will keep on. I'm optimistic totally about the coming years. Okay, but definitely we have to focus again on the social life and the ways the people accepting the changes, because the changes is really very fast. So I have to absorb it. Okay.
Well, hopefully there's a brighter future for this country. Mr. Raed Allam, a corporate finance consultant, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This brings us to the end of this episode of To The Point. I'm Morsi and I'm signing off.